Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. India and Vietnam signed joint vision statement on defence partnership towards 2030. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds bilateral talks with his Vietnamese counterpart in Hanoi. RBI increases the repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.9%. Forecasts 6.7% inflation for 2023. Real GDP growth rate pegged at 7.2%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Biotech Startup Expo 2022 at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi tomorrow. Polling underway for 26 Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council constituencies in 2 hill districts of Assam. Sri Lanka says it needs at least $5 billion over the next 6 months to pay for essential goods. World Ocean Day is being observed today to raise public awareness on oceans and its resources. Prime Minister congratulates Avni Lekhra for winning gold at Parachuting World Cup. Also wishes shooter Sriharsha Devareddy for winning the gold. And in the Khelo India Youth Games, Maharashtra remains on top of the medals tally, followed by Haryana at second and Manipur at third. India and Vietnam have signed joint vision statement on defence partnership towards 2030, which will significantly enhance the scope and scale of existing defence cooperation. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, who is on an official visit to Vietnam, held bilateral talks with his Vietnamese counterpart, General Phan Van Giang, in Hanoi today. Wide-ranging discussions on effective and practical initiatives to further expand defence engagements and regional and global issues were held between the two sides. On the occasion, an MOU on mutual logistics support was also inked. This is a major step towards simplifying procedures for mutually beneficial logistics support and is the first such major agreement which Vietnam has signed with any country. During the meeting, both ministers also agreed for early finalization of $500 million defense line of credit extended to Vietnam. Implementation of the projects will add substantially to Vietnam's defense capabilities and further Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Make in India, Make for the World. Mr. Singh also announced gifting 2 simulators and monetary grant towards setting up of language and IT lab at Air Force Officers Training School for capacity building of Vietnamese armed forces. Earlier, he began his official visit by paying respects to late President Ho Chi Minh at his mausoleum in Hanoi. He also visited Trang Quoc Pagoda, a revered Buddhist temple, which reaffirmed the age-old civilizational and people-to-people linkages between the two countries. India and Vietnam share a comprehensive strategic partnership since 2016, and defense cooperation is a key pillar of this partnership. Vietnam is an important partner in India's Act East policy and the Indo-Pacific vision. Both countries share a rich history of civilizational and cultural linkages spanning over 2,000 years. The two countries also continue to have more trustworthy relations in contemporary times with broader convergence of interests and common concerns.
The Reserve Bank of India today increased the repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.9%. The current repo rate is 4.4% after the rates were increased by 40 basis points at an off-cycle meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee. The central bank also revised the inflation projection for financial year 2023 to 6.7% from 5.7% earlier. The RBI also left its financial year 2023 GDP growth forecast unchanged at 7.2%. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das said the standing deposit facility and marginal standing facility rates have also been raised.
The standing deposit facility, that is the SDF rate, stands adjusted to 4.65% and the marginal standing facility, that is the MSF rate and bank rate, to 5.15%. The MPC also decided unanimously to remain focused on withdrawal of accommodation to ensure that inflation remains within the target going forward while supporting growth.
talking on inflation, Mr. Das said it is likely to remain above 6% in first 3 quarters of current fiscal. He said the central bank's steps will be calibrated, focused on bringing down inflation to target level. The RBI governor said the Russia-Ukraine war has led to globalization of inflation. He said the inflation has steeply increased much beyond the tolerance level. Process of recovery in emerging market economies is also getting affected, but the Indian economy has remained resilient.
During these difficult and challenging times, the Indian economy has remained resilient, supported by strong macroeconomic fundamentals and buffers. The recovery has gained momentum despite the pandemic and the war. On the other hand, inflation has steeply increased much beyond the upper tolerance level. A large part of the rise in inflation is primarily attributed to a series of supply shocks which can be linked to the war.
Mr. Das said a gradual withdrawal of the extraordinary accommodation has been started, adding that RBI will continue to be proactive and decisive in mitigating the fallout of the geopolitical crisis on the Indian economy. He said the steps will be measured and calibrated. Inflation projection for April-June has been revised to 7.5% from 6.3%. For July-September, it has been revised to 7.4% from 5.8%. The World Bank yesterday slashed the global economic growth forecast for 2022 due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, supply chain disruption, and other factors. It added that many countries are likely to face recession. In its Global Economic Prospects report, the bank said the world economy is expected to experience its sharpest deceleration following an initial recovery from global recession in more than 80 years. It has predicted that the world economy will expand 2.9% this year, down from last year's 5.7% and the 4.1% it had forecast for this year back in January.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Biotech Startup Expo 2022 at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi tomorrow and address the gathering. The Biotech Startup Expo 2022 is a 2-day event to mark completion of 10 years of setting up of the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. The theme of the expo is Biotech Startup Innovations towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. The expo will act as a platform to connect entrepreneurs, investors, industry leaders, scientists, researchers, bioincubators, manufacturers, regulators and government officials. About 300 stalls will be set up at the expo, which will showcase the applications of biotechnology in various fields such as healthcare, genomics, biopharma, agriculture, industrial biotechnology, waste to value and clean energy, among others. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari has congratulated NHAI, consultants and concessionaire Rajpath Infracon Private Limited and Jagdish Kadam on achieving the Guinness World Record of constructing 75 kilometers continuous bituminous concrete road. The work has been completed in a record time of 105 hours and 33 minutes. In a tweet today, Mr. Gadkari said, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, NHAI is celebrating the rich legacy of India with Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Amravati to Akola section is part of National Highway 53 and an important east-west corridor.
In Jharkhand, District Special Court Magistrate Satish Kumar Munda today sentenced RJD Supremo and former Bihar Chief Minister Lalu Prasad Yadav for 1.5 months imprisonment in connection with a Model Code of Conduct violation case of 2009. The court also imposed a fine of 6,000 rupees. Lalu Yadav was accused of landing a helicopter in the school grounds of Garhwa Govind High School without permission for conducting a party meeting, violating the Model Code of Conduct. The use of technology has played a significant role in the developmental work done in various sectors in the last 8 years of Narendra Modi government. India has joined the ranks of the world's leading countries today with the concept of minimum government, maximum governance and use of information technology for good governance. A report.
Good governance is the mantra of present government and it has taken a series of measures in this direction. Making better use of technology, the government has successfully operated the world's largest identification program, Aadhaar. Money has started reaching the bank accounts of farmers and women beneficiaries from time to time by direct benefit transfer. The financial assistance given to the beneficiaries is now hassle-free. Cash was transferred to the accounts of 20 crore women beneficiaries during the corona period. Not only this, the introduction of e-Sanjeevani telemedicine, which was started to give medical consultation to general public, proved to be a boon. The CoWIN platform was launched to deal with COVID-19 pandemic. The portal not only facilitated immunization of citizens of the country, but also important tasks like instant registration and issuance of certificates were completed without any hindrance. The New India has adopted new technology for governance. The launch of Umang mobile application also assumes significance. Comprehensive schemes of central and state governments have been included in this app. With Saubhagyakar, Divakar, Air News Delhi.
जन जन ने निर्णय लेकर भारत की सूरत बदली है। कदम कदम पे जनता मोदी जी के साथ चली है। 8 साल में हमने असंभव को संभव कर डाला है। जब उगे सूरज का देखो पश्चिम में भी उजाला है। साथ गई अब दिन आएगा भी तो ये बस भोर है। ये भारत का
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India and Vietnam signed joint vision statement on defence partnership towards 2030. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds bilateral talks with his Vietnamese counterpart in Hanoi. RBI increases the repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.9%, forecasts 6.7% inflation for 2023, real GDP growth rate pegged at 7.2%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Biotech Startup Expo 2022 at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi tomorrow. Polling underway for 26 Karbi-Anglong Autonomous Council constituencies in 2 hill districts of Assam. Sri Lanka says it needs at least $5 billion over the next 6 months to pay for essential goods. World Ocean Day is being observed today to raise public awareness on oceans and its resources. Prime Minister congratulates Avni Lekhara for winning gold at Para Shooting World Cup. Also wishes shooter Sriharsh Devareddy for winning the gold. And in the Khelo India Youth Games, Maharashtra remains on the top of the medal tally, followed by Haryana at second and Manipur at third. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है इकोनॉमिक्स और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 8 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
महिलाओं के विकास में भागीदार भारत सरकार। देश में पीएम आवास की 68% मालिक महिलाएं हैं। 35 करोड़ मुद्रा लोन लाभार्थियों में से 23 करोड़ महिलाएं हैं।
देश ने संकल्प लिया है 100% लाभार्थियों तक पहुंचने का।
8 साल सेवा, सुशासन, गरीब कल्याण।
Welcome back to the Midday News. In Assam, polling for the 26 Karbi-Anglong Autonomous Council constituencies spread across 2 hill districts is underway amidst tight security. Nearly 38% votes were cast till reports last came in. Over 7 lakh voters will be deciding the political fate of 154 candidates, including 14 female candidates. Polling will conclude at 4:30 p.m. The counting of votes will be held on Sunday, the 12th of June. Our correspondent reports that most of the seats are likely to witness direct or triangular fight. The top brass of the state BJP and Congress have campaigned for their respective candidates. Over 194 crore 43 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 14 lakh 94,000 vaccine doses were administered yesterday. A total of 5,233 new COVID cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload currently stands at 28,857. The recovery rate is currently at 98.72% and a total of 3,345 COVID patients recovered in the last 24 hours. According to the ministry, 7 deaths were reported during the same period.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today said NDA government has revived the economy and removed the undergrowth after coming into power in 2014. Addressing the gathering during the Finance Ministry's iconic week celebrations by the Department of Economic Affairs and SEBI in New Delhi, the Finance Minister said corporate tax was reduced and economy was digitized and formalized by this government. She said as a result, India has faced and come out of all its challenges in the past 75 years. She said digitization has led to a large number of innovation, including UPI. She gave the example of Co-Win platform and called it unique. Speaking at the function, Chief Economic Advisor Anant Nageshwaran said India's growth to enhance once cloud of pandemic, geopolitical conflict recedes. The CEA said India is right now in a situation where the economy faces considerable amount of challenges both from global macro monetary policies and political developments. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has approved enhancement of funding under Technology Development Fund TDF scheme to 50 crore rupees per project from 10 crore rupees. The TDF scheme supports indigenous development of components, products, systems and technologies by MSMEs and startups. The enhanced funding is in line with the union budget announcement and it will give further boost to the vision of Atmanirbharta in defence. In Union Budget 2022-23, 25% of defence R&D budget was earmarked for private industry, startups and academia. The TDF scheme aims to provide a major fillip to the defence manufacturing sector by encouraging the industry to innovate and develop defence technologies to place India on the self-reliance trajectory.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the BJP will work for good governance and ending dynastic misrule in Telangana. The Prime Minister met BJP Telangana corporators and other party leaders from the state yesterday. During the meeting, wide-ranging discussions were held on how to focus on community service endeavours and help people at the grassroots. Sri Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe today said the country needs at least $5 billion over the next 6 months to pay for essential goods. He told the Sri Lankan Parliament the money is needed for basic items such as food, fuel and fertilizer. Mr. Wickremesinghe, who is also the country's finance minister, warned of a slowdown in government payments to businesses and workers across the country as funds are redirected to pay for food supplies. In May, Sri Lanka defaulted on its debts with international lenders for the first time in its history as it faces its worst economic crisis in more than 70 years. The country has held bailout talks with the International Monetary Fund.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಬರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಸರಗೋಡಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕವಾದಂತಹ ಅನೇಕ ಕೆಲಸಗಳನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಜೀವಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಟ್ಟದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣ. ಆದರೆ ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬಾಲ್ಯಾರಭ್ಯ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಕಾರಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆತನದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಯಕ್ಷಗಾನದ ಕುರಿತು ತುಂಬ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಆಗ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಒಂದು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ನಮ್ಮದು. ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ 50 ಕುಟುಂಬ, ಒಂದು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 50ಕ್ಕಿಂತ 100ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಜನರು ಇದ್ರು.
We
remember poet, journalist and Indian independence activist Kayar Kinhana Rai. He was born on the 8th of June 1915 in Kasargod in Madras Presidency of British India. Rai began his career as a secondary school teacher and later moved to journalism. He wrote articles for newspapers like Swabhiman, Madras Mail and The Hindu. He was deeply influenced by Mahatma Gandhi. He dedicated his writings towards raising the national consciousness and also participated in the freedom struggle actively.
Kayar Kinhana Rai was also a poet. He has written a biography of Govinda Pai, the Kannada poet, by whom he was highly influenced. Some of his famous poems are Shrimukha, Chetana, Punarnava and Koraga. His other important works are Sahitya Drishti and Malayala Sahitya Charitre. In 1998, he served as president of the 67th Akhil Bharatiya Kannada Sahitya Sammelana. Rai was bestowed with various awards for his achievements, including Karnataka Sahitya Academy Puraskar, National Award for Best Teacher, and Karnataka Ekikarana Award. AIR pays tribute to the great nationalist.
Go! Follow your commander!
We remember martyr Khan Muhammad. He organized a group of independent activists during the First War of Independence in 1857. He provided the activists with financial help and led the group against the British authorities and overthrowing their oppressive rule. Khan Muhammad was captured by the British troops in the course of their counterattacks on the activists. He was put on trial for aiding and abetting the rebellion against the British. He was sentenced to imprisonment for life with hard labor in irons in May 1858. He was transported to the Andaman Islands in March 1859, where Khan Muhammad died in captivity on the 8th of June 1859. We salute the brave son of the soil.
We also pay tributes to Martyr Sumu. He joined the independence activists during the First War of Independence in 1857 and fought the British at several places in the Bombay Presidency. He was captured by the company troops and put on trial. He was sentenced to imprisonment for 10 years with hard labor in irons and transported to the Andaman Islands in March 1859. Sumu died while in detention at Cellular Jail on 8th of June 1859. We salute the brave son of the soil.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In a bid to conserve the country's largest freshwater body, Wooler Lake in Bandipora district of North Kashmir, the local administration has successfully cleared silt from 3 square kilometers of its area. As a result, the water retention capacity of the lake has increased. This portion of the lake had turned into a solid mass of land. Now, due to a massive dredging operation, the desilted area has become a vast expanse of water. District Magistrate Dr. Uwais Ahmed termed it as a major achievement.
जो डीसिल्टिंग और सफाई का काम है वो किया गया है 3 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर जो हमारा क्रिटिकली सिल्टेड एरिया था जिसकी वजह से ये जो झील थी ये अपना जो पूरा वजूद थी वो खोती जा रही थी और वाटर कैरिंग कैपेसिटी काफी कम हो गई थी इस सिल्टेशन की वजह से जिस वजह से जो झेलम का पानी है वो यहाँ पे ज्यादा देर ठहर नहीं पाता था और फ्लड के खतरे बने रहते थे वो बहुत बड़ी अचीवमेंट रही है.
AIR correspondent reports that Wooler Conservation and Management Authority is conducting the desilting operation.
Today is World Ocean Day. The day is observed every year on June the 8th to raise public awareness on oceans and their resources in order to promote global ocean and resource sustainability. The purpose of the day is also to inform the public of the impact of human actions on oceans, develop a worldwide movement of citizens for the ocean, and mobilize and unite people on a project for the sustainable management of the world's oceans. The theme for this year is Revitalization, Collective Action for the Ocean. A report.
The ocean cover over 70% of the planet. According to the UN, oceans produce about 50% of the planet's oxygen and are home to Earth's biodiversity. It is the main source of protein for more than 1 billion people around the world. The ocean is key to economy, with an estimated 40 million people being employed by the ocean-based industries by 2030. It is also the life source supporting humanity's sustenance and that of every other organism on Earth. However, over the years, oceans had to witness 90% depletion of big fish populations and destruction of 50% of coral reefs due to reckless human activities. It is an urgent need to work together to create a new balance with the ocean that no longer depletes its bounty, but instead restores its vibrancy and brings it new life. With P.V. Varghese report, Manal Said for AIR News.
Today is also World Brain Tumor Day. It is observed to raise awareness and educate people about brain tumors. The day also pays tribute to those affected by brain tumors. The German Brain Tumor Association started this International Commemoration Day in the year 2000 as a tribute to all brain tumor patients and their families. In Iran, at least 8 people were killed and dozens injured after 4 train carriages derailed between the towns of Mashhad and Yazd this morning. A railway spokesman said 8 people were killed. However, some media reports put the death toll at 10. There are fears that the number of casualties could rise. The derailment took place around 50 kilometers to the desert city of Tabas on the rail that connects the town with the central city of Yazd.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Tokyo Paralympics champion Avni Lekhra for winning gold at the Para-Shooting World Cup. Mr. Modi described it as a historic accomplishment. He wished for her to keep scaling new heights of success and inspiring others. The Prime Minister also congratulated shooter Sri Harsh Devareddy for winning the gold. Mr. Modi said his determination is truly motivating. He wished him best for his future endeavours. In the Khelo India Youth Games 2021 today, Maharashtra remained at the top by winning 24 gold, 24 silver and 20 bronze medals. Maharashtra has won total 68 medals till reports last came in, while Haryana has got a total of 74 medals, but it moved to second position with 24 gold, 21 silver and 29 bronze medals. Manipur with 12 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze medals is at third place, followed by Tamil Nadu at fourth place with 8 gold, 9 silver and 4 bronze medals. Punjab has come down to fifth position with 6 gold, 5 silver and 6 bronze medals. In cricket, the India-South Africa 2025 match international series will start from tomorrow. The first match is scheduled to take place at Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi tomorrow at 7 p.m. The two teams will play the subsequent matches in Cuttack on 12th, Visakhapatnam on 14th, Rajkot on 17th and the last one in Bengaluru on the 19th of this month. The Sensex and the Nifty today fell around 0.4% in the afternoon trade. Both indices declined amid mixed cues from global share markets. The Sensex was trading below the 55,000 mark, while the Nifty was trading near 16,350 level. The Sensex was down 218 points to trade at 54,890, while the Nifty fell 61 points to trade at 16,355. In the forex market, the rupee weakened 6 paise to trade at 77 rupees and 77 paise against the US dollar in afternoon deals.
Now let us take a quick look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi is likely to have strong surface winds during daytime. Mumbai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Chennai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata is likely to have partly cloudy sky too. Visakhapatnam, Bengaluru and Thiruvananthapuram are expected to have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers in the northeast. Guwahati, Shillong, Imphal, Aizawl, Kohima, Itanagar, Agartala are expected to have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India and Vietnam sign joint vision statement on defence partnership towards 2030. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh holds bilateral talks with his Vietnamese counterpart in Hanoi. RBI increases repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.9%, forecast 6.7% inflation for 2023. Real GDP growth rate pegged at 7.2%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Biotech Startup Expo 2022 at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi tomorrow. Polling underway for 26 Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council constituencies in 2 hill districts of Assam. Sri Lanka says it needs at least $5 billion over the next 6 months to pay for essential goods. World Ocean Day is being observed today to raise public awareness on oceans and their resources. Prime Minister congratulates Avni Lekra for winning gold at Parachuting World Cup. Also wishes shooter Sriharsha Devareddy for winning the gold. In Khelo India Youth Games, Maharashtra remains on top of the medals tally. And with that, we end the midday news.